This is Ziggy, and he is the second brawler that is coming in the next Brawl Stars update, and today I'm going to pit him 1v1 versus every brawler in the game. Now, Ziggy is a Mythic Control Brawler, but even though his magic tricks may be real, him having a spot in the controller class, that's an illusion. He doesn't belong there, and throughout this video, I'm going to show you why. Ziggy is part of the Mad Evil Manor area of the game. He will be the front man for a new band there. Where Lumi and Draco are part of a metal band, Ziggy will be in a glam rock band. His name is actually a reference to a David Bowie song called Ziggy Stardust, but to me, he has the flair and looks of Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. So let's take a look at his abilities. Now, Ziggy has a relatively low health pool with only 5,600 hit points, but he does have a fast movement speed to help him get around. For his main attack called Tada, he targets a small area in a long range, and after a short delay, it zaps that spot, dealing 1,600 damage. Now, this delay sounds like that it would make hitting your shots hard, but the wild thing is that you can actually auto-aim like 95% of the time and they will hit. And that's even if they're walking in a line perpendicular to you. And if they try to juke, well, you still hit them, but we'll talk more about that later. Now, his shot, despite the line that connects Ziggy to it, is not stopped by walls. While his shot does very little damage, you can amplify it with his second star power called the Great Ziggy. With this, whenever you hit a shot, his next shot's damage will be increased by 30%. Bringing that up to 2,080 damage. And you can actually keep that amount too, as the increased damage does not stop until you miss a shot. But if you want to cover some ground with that shot, well, you can use his second gadget called Now You See Me. With this, when activated, his next main shot will also teleport him to the spot that he fires. And this is on a 13-second cooldown, and it is really good for like getting to people or even maybe scoring some Brawl Ball goals. But if you wanted to put out some offensive pressure, you could use his first gadget called Electric Shuffle. When pressed, it will target the nearest enemy and send a lightning strike at them every second for 5 seconds. It will follow them wherever they go, and if they move too far away, it will retarget the next closest enemy. And yes, they're all about guaranteed to hit. Now, the only other thing to note about his main attack is that his reload speed is very slow, so you gotta make those shots count. However, his main attack is just to like whet your appetite, because the real showstopper here is his super, and this thing is absolutely insane. Now, it only takes 5 shots to fill up his super, and with it, you unleash a massive electrical storm that will move across the map. It has a very long range that is about the width of a 3v3 map, and it deals 1,400 damage per tick to anyone caught inside of it. Now, the storm moves pretty fast unless someone is caught inside it, and then it slows down and it will linger in that area a bit longer. And to make matters worse, if you equip your first star power, anyone who is damaged by this storm will also get slowed for 1 second, making it even harder to escape from the storm. This super is 100% cracked, and it will be insanely good on objective based maps or just when you want to zone out an entire area of a map. And getting it in only 5 shots is pretty wild. That being said, he really needs this super to make up for the other weaknesses that we're about to see as he goes against our first group, the marksman. Ziggy shows us yet another magic trick. It's a disappearing act. But at his max distance against Piper, he gets a win. Ziggy takes out B before she can even get a second shot off. And against Nani, he loses, but only by a few frames. Now against Bonnie here, I want to point out something for you on these interactions. If you'll notice, he only gets 1 shot amplified by his star power. The reason for this is the delay in his shot. The star power doesn't actually kick in until the first shot lands its damage, but in these tests, we don't have the luxury of waiting around for that first shot to fully complete before continuing to fire because of his low health. If we did, he would be dead before he got off all 3 shots. So just know that when you're playing him, that if you spam your shots really fast, you might not get that extra 400 damage on one of those shots. Now in a real matchup, the marksmen clearly have a range advantage, a damage advantage, and well, sometimes a health advantage too. But what they can't do is shoot through walls like Ziggy can. That being said, in an actual game, you are probably not going to be squaring off with these marksmen too much. Ziggy does not want to be in an open map against a marksman. He may be classified as a control brawler, but you're probably going to end up playing him more like a thrower. He's a control thrower with a long range. That being said, there are times where he could absolutely go rogue and take out an isolated marksman thanks to his teleport gadget. If the marksman is missing some shots or health, he could teleport up to them and auto-aim them down really fast. Now that would be a little bit risky since he has so little health and very little defense, but it's definitely something to watch out for. All in all though, this one has to go to the marksman. I mean, you're not going to be in the line of fire too often since you're going to be acting as a thrower, but if you do, it's going to hurt. But speaking of throwers, let's see how they do. Starting out with Barley, it only takes a few shots and he's gone, but Mike shows that TNT is stronger than lightning. Tick takes this opportunity to still do nothing, but Grom has the health to win this one. Larry gets the win with his double shots, and Sprout's normal shot is just as much as Ziggy's crit. Juju also deals more damage and faster as Ziggy puts up a disappointing score against the other throwers. Now in a game, I actually quite like this matchup for Ziggy. The main reason is because while with all the other throwers you can dodge their shots, but with Ziggy, if you're on the other side of a wall with a thrower, you literally just have to hit auto aim while dodging their shots and you win. You literally do not need to aim with Ziggy in this range at all. Even if they're trying to dodge your shots, they can't. But it actually gets worse because both of his gadgets will wreck throwers. First off, you can just teleport close to them and that's not where a thrower wants you to be. And secondly, if they're in range and you press your damage gadget, then you can just kind of sit back and watch the thrower run in fear. I mean, they won't get away, but they can try. So this is actually a very good matchup for Ziggy, mainly thanks to his undodgeable auto aim. And while that strategy will absolutely work against throwers, it will not work on assassins. So let's rip the band-aid off right now and watch the destruction. Now, assassins love to attack throwers and control brawlers, and Ziggy is the perfect storm. So it should come as a surprise to precisely 0 people that these assassins would mop the floor with him. They have way more damage, mainly more health, and movement abilities to boot. So if you like playing assassin brawlers, then this is your moment to just bask in the carnage. Even Melody, whose damage needs to ramp up, takes care of him. Lily gives him 3 quick pokes and it's all over. Allie dashes out of his shots and kills him with ease, and even the low health Crow gets a convincing win. Leon wrecks him, Cord destroys him, Kenji totally eradicates him, and after consulting my thesaurus, it looks like pulverize is a good word to describe Kaze's interaction. So yeah, I mean that was bad. But I mean, it's an assassin attacking basically a thrower. I mean, this is what is supposed to happen in the game. It's like, it's the natural order of things. I mean, you wouldn't expect like a chicken to beat up a tiger, and you know what, that's fine. Every brawler should have a counter, and almost any assassin is going to be a hard counter to Ziggy. Now, that's not to say that he doesn't have some escape mechanisms. His teleport gadget could be a literal lifesaver here, and even his damage gadget might be enough to persuade an assassin to leave him alone, at least for a moment, but let's be real. If an assassin gets the drop on you, it's better probably just to accept your fate, respawn, and change lanes. This is not the fight that you want to pick. Another one that you're going to want to run away from is the tank, so you know what, let's just get that destruction over with real fast. Similar to the assassins, Ziggy finds himself in an unwinnable situation. He doesn't have the damage output to hardly make a dent in these big tanks' health pool, and his own health is so low, he gets 2-shot by many of these brawlers as well. You could line up 2 Ziggies and they would still get beat here by a single tank. This is the definition of a mismatch. It's true, I actually looked it up. Ziggy is just not winning any of these. Hank takes his sweet time and still is not threatened. Trunk does a 720 and wins. Buster started the show and then just walked on out. Ollie kickflips his way to victory, and Meg doesn't even need to hit all of her shots to win easily. And Draco, well, he just shreds Ziggy in 2 hits. So yeah, once again, this is not the matchup that Ziggy wanted, nor is it one that he's going to face in a game too often. If he finds himself toe-to-toe with a tank, then you done messed up, and you probably deserve what's about to happen. Well, I say that, but I mean, there are times where there's really just nothing that you can do about it. As Ziggy, you don't have the damage output to stop a tank from just running you down. Your only hope is to either gadget out of there or use your damage gadget, all your shots, and then hope that the tank decides to turn around, because even all of that is still not going to kill them. Luckily for Ziggy though, he can shoot from behind a wall because you're going to need it. But then again, there's always this to worry about. So let's level the playing field with the next matchup and put Ziggy against the other control brawlers. Jesse taunts him, just waiting to unleash shot number 3, but at least Penny puts him out of his misery quickly. Bo wastes no time in dropping him, and Ems is not impressed by his magic. Griff is, well, Griff, and even Gale manages to pummel him. Meeple doesn't need to cheat to win on this one, and even Gene has no issues coming out on top. Mr. P wins with the quickness, and Squeak wins as well, but just not as fast. Ziggy's gone before Lou even fully gets him frozen, and Otis has zero issues putting him out to pasture. The wild one here is Willow. Even Willow gets a win. Willow. Chuck sees the dub even outside of Heist, and Charlie smacks that yo-yo against his face like the menace that she is. Finks gets 2 projectiles to hit and secures the win, and even though it took Sandy 4 shots, he's the one left standing. And Amber one-buttons her way to a fiery finish, ending in Ziggy getting completely blanked by every single control brawler. Okay, so I said it at the start. Ziggy is technically a control brawler, but I still feel like he's more of a thrower, or at least the play style of a thrower. If you're going to try to stand out in an open field with him and battle brawlers head to head, either you better really be able to juke a lot of shots, or you can just prepare yourself for lots of trips back to spawn. So in my book, he's a thrower, and I really think that you should play him like one. Yes, he does have a little bit longer range than a standard thrower, but man oh man, does he struggle when he's out in the open. Despite his ability to auto-aim and hit every shot, if you die before you can really put out any damage, then it really doesn't matter too much. So play him like a control thrower. Do that and you're going to find success because there's a lot to like with this kit. His big redeeming quality here is his super. This is about as controlling as it gets. If you fire this thing off at a hot zone, the enemy will 100% have to run out. If they don't, it only takes 5 hits from either his main attack or his super to recharge it fully, so if you don't move, you're going to be looking at those supers getting cycled just over and over again. But can his control do much against damage dealers? Let's find out. So then here we are, Ziggy toe-to-toe with some of the hardest hitting brawlers in the game. The brawlers that are specifically designed to pump out as much damage as they can, squaring off with a brawler that has one of the weakest main attacks in Brawl Stars, and his low health to match that equally low damage. What you would expect to happen? Well, yeah, it happens. It's not pretty, and it's not exactly fair, but the purpose here is to show you what would happen in a base level interaction if you found yourself in this position. And trust me, this is not a position that you would want to find yourself in with Ziggy. If you do, then just realize that mistakes have been made. RT is going to clap you even without his split. Clancy at stage 2 is going to win. Mo doesn't even need his devastating super. The surprising one though is that he actually beats Lumi. I mean, it's only by like 1 frame, but still. But then he's back to losing right away against the other new brawler, Mina. Now it's a pretty close fight with Spike, and while Surge wins, it's not by much. But then Chester just ends this magic show real fast. So yeah, I think what we learned here was, don't try to run up to a damage dealer and win. It's not going to end well for you. Of course, I don't think that you needed me to tell you that, but I mean, if you did, well then, there you go. Now, in a real game, it's not going to look this bad. You're going to be staying safe against these brawlers, staying behind a wall and getting that easy damage where you can. You'll be cycling your supers to gain space and moving up only when it's clear to do so. Now, of course, there are some brawlers that will not have any mercy on you, like Mo, who could just erase your entire bloodline with 1 super. Or like if Nita throws down Bruce and comes after you, you're going to be in a world of hurt without much recourse to defend yourself. But if you play him like a thrower, then you should be alright. Still though, this is a tough one, so play it safe. So then our last group of brawlers are the support brawlers. I actually started this one out with high hopes, but after seeing Poco beat him straight up, yeah. Pam's victory was never in question either, but at least he wins against Barry. Barely. Max bursts him down without much issue, but at least on the bright side for Ziggy, there's always Byron, so that's 1 win. Ruff's damage is too much, and Gray has more HP than most people realize. Doug? I mean, there's no chance. Even Jay Young gets a win. And finally, Kit claws his way to victory to finish off this rough day. So then, after that final beatdown, the score adds up to an impressive 7 wins and 88 losses. It's impressively pathetic is what it is. He's on par with Byron and Tick when it comes to head-on interactions, but this kind of expected in a scenario like this. Despite his terrible performance, he's really not as bad as it seems. Ziggy is meant to be played behind a wall where he can deal near guaranteed damage if he gets in range of you. He's going to be very deadly to supporting and squishy brawlers if he can get in range of them, and he can also use his teleport gadget for just that. Or he can use it for escaping from harm's way. His super is the best part about him, pushing enemies where you want them or splitting them up so you can pick them off separately. It is relatively easy to get out of its way though, so don't be expecting to kill all the players on the other team with it all the time. But for all the good that Ziggy has, there's honestly just as much bad. His DPS is extremely low. He has a very slow reload speed and he only deals 1,600 damage per shot. That's a bad wombo combo. Tanks can run Ziggy down without a care in the world if they get hit or not because his damage is just that low. And even worse, if brawlers get near you, especially assassins, you're as good as dead with only 5,600 health. Many brawlers are going to have the ability to get up real close to him, and he doesn't really have a way to defend himself. His super doesn't pose that much of a threat to brawlers who can dash through it either, as the damage comes on rather slowly. And because of this, I think that Ziggy's just going to be an okay brawler. Not great, not terrible either. One part I really don't like is that he's not crazy fun to play either, unless you like auto-aiming, because you're really just better off tapping the red button than actually aiming your attacks with him, and I don't find that very fun. His super, though, that is fun. I'll give him that one. Now, as for which build to use, his damage star power is definitely the one that you're going to want to use because he really needs that extra DPS. As for the other star power, brawlers caught in your super are probably already dead, so I'd rather just take the extra damage than the slight slow that it provides. Now, his gadgets are both solid and interchangeable. It really just depends on how you want to play him. His teleport is going to be better against long-range and squishy brawlers, or even like in Brawl Ball, but his damage gadget will work better against higher health opponents. If I had to rate him on a scale of 1 to 10, I don't think that I can really go any higher than like a 5. Maybe a 6, because I do really like his character. He's got a lot of personality, but as a viable brawler right now, he's just kind of mid. I think that he could probably stand a slight buff to either his damage or his reload speed, as they're both big weaknesses. And that could actually very well happen before this update goes live. Be sure to subscribe because we still have quite a bit more things coming to show that's in this coming update that we actually can't show until after Brawl Talk, or until China leaks something again. China, it's always China.